Hey everyone, this is Dan Blewett. We're going to go over situational pitching for the young pitcher, and for me I classify that as somewhere between ages 8 and 12. So there's three things I'm going to cover in this quick video. One, more plate, less plate, middle, halves, thirds, and corners, and what to teach about effective velocity. So first thing, with the really young kids, I think the simplest view of where they should throw their pitch is how many strikes they have. If they have more strikes, they want to have a target that has less plate. If they have more balls, they want to throw for a target that has more plate. And this in general is just to give kids room for error. So if they're falling behind, they're 1-0, you want to give them a target down the middle so they can catch up, have equal room for error up, down, left, and right, so they're more likely to throw a strike. Walks are like the biggest factor in youth baseball. So if a pitcher can just simply throw strikes, he's going to do really, really well. But if he does throw strikes, my goal is to emphasize to him that the more strikes he throws, the less the batter deserves another pitch down the middle, and everyone seems to understand that down the middle is the easiest pitch to hit. So if they're 0-0, get ahead, throw it down the middle. You know, if they get a swing, they get a first pitch out often. Once they get ahead, the hitter does not deserve another pitch down the middle, so they move off the plate. When they have more strikes, throw to less of the plate. When they have less strikes or they have more balls, they start falling behind, they bring the mitt back in the middle of the plate. So we'll just go 0-0, boom, they'll throw, call it strike. I'll ask them, more plate or less plate? Now you're 0-1, more or less plate. Okay, so we move over just a little bit. They hit me again. Now they're 0-2, more plate or less plate? They answer less plate. Okay, we go a little farther out. Now you missed, more plate, less plate. Well, maybe about the same since you're still ahead, but a little bit of, maybe a little bit less plate. So maybe now it's not the third, maybe it's the half, maybe it's not the corner, it's the third. Okay, that's probably the simplest view of what I teach about situational pitching. Number two, for kids that are a little more advanced, we'll break it up into 4 different zones. So middle, again, used for when you're behind or first pitch. Half, when you're maybe even counts, 1-1, 2-2, stuff like that. Thirds, when you're ahead, but not way ahead, so 0-1, 1-2. And then 0-2 is when we go for corners. That's when it's your one chance to strike a guy out or maybe elevate or whatever. That's where they definitely don't deserve anything over the plate. It's a black and white pitch. It's either a strikeout, you hit your spot, or you miss, and it's a ball. No big deal. We're never trying to waste a pitch 0-2 because that doesn't make sense. Efficiency is still very, very important. So 0-2 is not a waste pitch. 0-2 is I'm going to strike you out, or I'm going to miss my spot. I'm not going to give you something that's easy to hit. Okay, so that's the second thing I cover: middle, half, thirds, and corners. I wanted to use them. And the last thing is just general rules about effective velocity and where a hitter's bat needs to be. So I tell kids, if you throw 50 miles an hour, then barrel to the middle of the plate is going to be 50 miles per hour essentially. Now, if you throw that same 50 on the inside corner, the hitter's got to get his barrel this much farther out, so that pitch is effectively 2 or 3 miles per hour faster to that hitter because he has to get his barrel farther out in front in the same period of time. And then for the outside pitch, they hit barrel deeper on the plate so they can wait a little bit longer, so your fastball is effectively 48 miles per hour, something like that. Pitches that are farther up and in seem effectively faster, low and away effectively slower. Okay, so then they can use that as sort of a way to gauge, all right, I threw a couple out there, now it's going to seem even faster when I move it back in on the hitter. Okay, so those are my 3 quick tips as far as situational pitching. I think all these things sort of get thrown out the window with youth pitchers because they're going to miss their spots so often. So you're not going to be able to go, all right, let's set them up away, 2 fastballs away and then bust them in. That's not going to work because they're probably not going to hit you twice in a row out there. And if they do, it's sort of a miracle. But getting their brains working in that way, so that when they do hit their spot, they go, okay, I'm going to try and hit that spot again, so that after that, so maybe he rolls over it, and then if I do hit my spot and he doesn't swing, then I'm going to go back in. If they're starting to think like a big leaguer, it's only going to help their development as an intelligent pitcher as they get older. And again, they're not going to execute enough to really move the ball in and move it out. They're going to be set up here and miss here. They're going to be set up here and miss here and miss there. They're going to miss all over. But again, getting them to think about the situations and why they're doing what they're doing and what makes sense, you can't start teaching that too early.